Hello everyone, this is Zoator, and I'm going to give you a brief preview of a new tower defense map I've been working on for Starcraft II, called Zoator TD. And I'm just going to play through a few levels and hopefully give you a bit of an idea of what's going on. So the first thing we see when the map starts up is this menu asking if we want to defend the top or the bottom. Since I'm just playing by myself, I'm just going to choose the top. It won't really matter. And then we're asked which race we want to play. There's 3 in the game right now. I'm going to choose Ancient. It's probably the best for beginners, and I'm going to build 3 of my basic tower here. This is amazing TD, so you'll probably want to start building a maze. And down here you can see the bragging rights are being displayed. These are basically just a bunch of categories, and it shows who in the current game has the best stat in each of those categories. So just, you know, a way to acknowledge players who have done pretty well in the game. Now, one thing before we go any further that I just want to explain a little bit is one of the fundamental concepts about the game, and that's this concept of life points. And you can see that kind of all over the place in the UI. You have life points in the leaderboard here, LP here and here. LP stands for life points. The idea behind life points is that they're what keep you alive in the game. So when your life points reaches 0, your team loses. Now, you lose life points for leaking, so when you leak a unit, they'll remove some amount of life points. And that amount of life points that they remove is based on the amount of health that they have remaining. So if you have a severely weakened unit, they'll remove a whole lot less life points than a unit that's at full health. So it scales based on the damage you do, not necessarily in these discrete chunks based on units that you've killed. Now, in the top of the screen right here, you can see this box that says level 1 LP threat. This tells us what, basically, the amount of life points we would lose if we were to leak the entirety of level 1 without killing or damaging anything. It's kind of, you can think of it as the amount of life points that that level is worth. It's threat to us. And over here, we can see the level 1 net LP. Now, just like we can lose life points for leaking, we can also gain life points. And the way we do that is by putting towers into what's called restore mode. The idea behind restore mode is that you can switch it on for a tower, and that tower will do less damage than it normally does. However, some percentage of that damage gets converted into life points for your team. So if you know you're killing units pretty easily, and you're not really leaking, you can put some of your towers into restore mode and try to gain some life points for your team. And the whole idea behind playing is to really strike a balance between the amount of LP that you gain through the level through restore mode and the amount of LP you lose based on leaking. One of the weird things about it that you kind of need to get your head around is it's not necessarily bad to leak. It's bad if you have a negative net LP for a level, but if you leak a few units and you have a strong positive net LP, then you're pretty good. You gained life points for the level, you've done better than you were the previous level. So that's the basic idea behind life points, and we'll see how that ties into some other aspects of the game in a bit. So I'm going to return to the game now, and the next thing I want to talk about is down here, these gladiators. The gladiator system effectively lets us fight enemies in between levels so that we can get some minerals and work on our economy. We start with a hero, similar to a Warcraft 3 hero. It has a bunch of skills, and I'm just going to select one of them. And we just fight units like this. Now, there are a few ways to bolster our gladiator forces because, you know, this isn't really that interesting right now. It's just shooting and killing a bunch of units. And we're going to see how we can do that right now, actually, as level 1 starts. So we can see up here the spawns are starting, and I'm just going to use this ability on my builder called Mark for Capture. I'm going to use one of these units, and it puts this little orange circle under the unit, which, when this unit is killed, that unit is now mine as a gladiator. So if I come down here, I can see, alright, here's this larva that I just killed. and I can now use that in this system to fight enemy units. And I'll explain what this score bar is in a minute, probably after the next level. So now down here, I now have this larva unit, and now I can use this to fight with me. And I can capture units every level. Some levels have a few different units that you can capture, so you just mark the one you want, and when you kill it, it's yours. Also, if you look at your builder, next to the Mark for Capture ability button, there's an upgrade button, so I can upgrade it. I can increase the number of marks I can make during a level, or I can increase the level of the gladiators that I capture. Increasing the level of the gladiators pretty much gives them more health and more damage. Normally gladiators level up every 10 kills that they get, but you can do this to have them leveled up automatically once they're captured. So I'm going to mark again, and this is telling me to put some of my towers in restore mode, so let's do that. So I put these 3 towers in restore mode, and now you can see my net LP is increasing as these are attacking, and the same over here, we can see my total life points are going up. Similarly, the threat LP as I'm doing damage is going down. Now, you can see I gained a bunch of net LP here, and up here, we're shown the level results. And the way this works is each team, normally there's 2 teams playing, I'm just playing by myself, so there is no right team, but normally it's left versus right. There's 2 teams playing, and at the end of each level, each team is scored based on the amount of net LP they have. If they have a positive net LP, their score will be over 100. If they have a net LP of 0, the score will be 100, which is the default score for a team not playing. And if their net LP is negative, the score will be below 100. And the scores determine how these bonus minerals get split. So since I scored higher than the other team, I got a larger share of the bonus mineral pool for that level. And that's basically a way of allowing you to indirectly compete with the other team by trying to get your score up as high as possible and then trying to starve them economically. And the amount of bonus pool minerals increases substantially as you get later in the game, so it becomes a very significant part of your income. I'm going to capture another unit. I accidentally captured a marine there. Ideally you would want to capture the commander. It's a stronger unit of the 2. And again, you can see what's going on with the net LP and the threat LP because my tower's in restore mode. And again, the score, I scored higher, so I take a larger share of the bonus minerals. If I score a lot higher, I'll take a much larger share of the bonus minerals, and it scales based on the 2 team scores. So coming back here, fighting units with my gladiator, you can see my gladiator hero level has just increased, and I got an upgrade point because of that. You get 1 upgrade point for every level that your gladiator hero increases. And these upgrade points can be used to upgrade your towers. It'll upgrade all of the towers of that type that you have, and each tower has its own unique upgrade that does something different. So right now the only one I can actually get is this Ancient Wanderer upgrade. Since I don't really want to save up right now for this tutorial, I'm just going to get that. And I'm going to build another tower here. This is a Bounty Hunter tower. There's a chance that after it kills a unit, that unit will be captured as a gladiator for me, even if it wasn't marked. So it's another way of boosting your gladiator economy. And one thing I should talk about a little bit is the kinds of towers that are available to you. There are 2 types of towers in the game. There are assault towers, which are towers that automatically attack, like all of these towers have been doing, and like what you would expect in a standard tower defense. And you know, they have an attack, and they could have passive abilities and other things going on that make them unique. But, oh, my gladiator hero just got killed. I'm not paying attention, sorry. But they will attack automatically. There's static defense. Whereas these up here are ability towers. And ability towers are towers that I can just place down, and then they have a manually castable ability. Like this one, it will allow me to return an enemy unit back to the start of my lane, and let me try to kill it again. It'll have to run through my maze again. And this one was kind of interesting to balance, so you can only build 3 of them per game. Unless you upgrade it, then you can build 6. But each race has, well, 2 of them right now. In the final version of the game, there's going to be 3 more towers for each race. There'll be 12 towers instead of 9. And another one of them will be an ability tower. So coming back down here, my gladiator hero died because I wasn't paying attention, so I'm unable to spawn any more units for it for 3 minutes. Now it's down to 125. The other thing I should talk about, which is kind of unfortunate since I can't spawn units with my gladiators, but are these artifacts over here. Every time that I spawn units for my gladiators, there's some chance that an artifact will spawn. And what an artifact is basically a building. It looks like a pylon that spawns in the gladiator arena, and I have a set amount of time to destroy it. And if I destroy it within that time, I will obtain that artifact to use up here in one of these buttons. And I can use that artifact during a level, and that'll give me some sort of bonus. It'll increase my tower's damage or something for some amount of time, or their attack speed, or it'll give me more income for units that I kill, stuff like that. And there are 3 classes of artifacts. There's normal, rare, and legendary, and those are in order of increasing rarity. And the rarer an artifact is, the better it is, the better bonus it gives you when you actually destroy it and use it. You'll see I leaked right here, and I lost 509 LP. I have this much remaining, and my net LP after that leak was negative 291, so my score is less than 100 here, although still not significantly less than 100 enough for the bonus mineral split to be different. And my gladiator's back. Just got another upgrade point. And here's an ability right here, speaking of artifacts, that will increase my chances of getting artifacts if I want to invest in that, which is generally a good idea. And I'm just going to play through this last level here, level 7, before stopping this video for this tutorial. The game right now is incomplete in terms of content, so like I said, I'm still missing some towers here, and the game will end at level 25 right now, instead of what's planned as 35 levels. So there definitely is some more content that needs to be added to the game before it's finished, and that will be showing up in the coming weeks. So that's basically the idea behind the game, the concepts and the systems that you use to play. There are a few different tabs up here in the multi-board. Oh, here's an artifact. So it shows up here, it has a timer on it. I kind of want to kill it as quickly as possible. You don't think you're going to kill it fast enough, which I will, but each gladiator can self-destruct, so I can just blow that up and get the artifact. And now here it is. So this will increase the attack speed of all of my towers by 50% for 15 seconds. And yeah, those are basically the systems involved in the game that I wanted to talk about. And here's this level is a tower stunner level, so whenever a unit dies, it's going to prevent my towers around it from attacking, which would be kind of frustrating. And up here we have the leaderboard, which is showing the teams and the life points and scores right now. But there are a few different views into this, so I can see the players playing and their current stats during the game. Their career stats that are tracked from game to game. There's a rating, so your rating is based on your performance against beating other teams. So when there's 2 teams in the game, you'll be playing in a rated game, and if you beat that other team, if you effectively out-survive them, your rating will increase, and their rating will decrease, and the amount that changes is dependent on the average ratings of the 2 teams. It tracks your high score from game to game, and the number of times you've actually completed the entire game, as well as the number of games you've played. And then you can minimize it altogether. So I'm going to stop playing for right now. I pretty much gave you an idea of how the game is played and most of the major systems behind it. The game is available to play right now in open beta on the arcade patch, patch 1.5, the beta for that. It's not, I haven't published it publicly to the current version of Starcraft II 1.4.3 yet, and I don't intend to really. I think I'm going to keep that private while using the arcade patch to publicly test the game for the time being. And like I said, there's still some content that needs to be added. I'll be adding that in the coming weeks on a pretty consistent basis. And I really request to get any feedback that you have from the game. You can reach me from a variety of channels. You can post comments to this video. I'm on SC2 Mapster, BrokenAlliances.com. I have forums at Zoator.com if you want to post there. You can email me at zoatortd@gmail.com. Really, any way that you want to get feedback to me, I'm more than happy to listen to it, and I would love to incorporate it into the map. And one thing I should warn you about is that, speaking of testing, this map hasn't really been tested very much with a large number of players, just because it's been very, very difficult for me to get any sort of high number of players together to test the map privately on Battle.net. The most I've been able to ever test this with is about 5 players. So I'm just imagining a whole bunch of issues are going to arise when more players are playing the game. I'm sure there'll be bugs and balance issues that I haven't considered yet, so I really want to hear about all of those so I can iron all of that out before actually publishing the release version of the map. So that's about it. Thank you everyone for listening, and I look forward to hearing your feedback, and I hope you enjoy the game when you play it. Thank you.